I remember the first time that I was concerned about my weight, I was 8 years old, and the first time I went on a diet, I was 10, and then it was just that yo-yo cycle never ending for years and years and years until what I mean, it seems like magic when you don't have to have that kind of pressure in my mind or on my body anymore. It's lifted off of my shoulders. The thoughts are out of my mind, and my body is at a steady weight month after month. And that feels really good. It feels really good. So, we're going to talk a little bit about what the craziness is. And then we're going to talk about what really needs to change. And then, of course, I'm going to give you an invitation into that world of health and vitality and what exactly that means. Okay, so we are going to share screen here because, of course, I have a fun little PowerPoint slides because I just love visuals and pictures. They are just awesome. So let me move that over there, get into presentation mode for you. And we are off and running. Yay. All right, ladies, so many diets, so little time. I mean, which one do you do? Which one works? This one, says it's got this kind of great results. This person's doing that. People swear by it. It's on talk shows, it's on magazines. And of course, it varies depending on what group you're in, right? Who you talk to, what is the best thing for all people. And you must do this, avoid this and avoid that, and do this and do this. So let's talk about over the years some of the most wild things that have come about. So, this is the avoiding swamps diet. So, I mean, have you ever been near a swamp? Did you feel heavier? Well, apparently it's not in your head. In 1727, Thomas Short observed that fat people live near swamps. His treatise, titled The Causes and Effects of Corpulence, introduced the only logical weight loss tip that he could deduce: move away from the swamp. I think that we can see pretty wholeheartedly that it probably not the swamp that's putting on the pounds. This one's kind of interesting. Actually, when I was in high school, there was a girl who was very heavy, and over the course of like a month or two, she became very slender. And what we found out was that she had a tapeworm. So, of course, like the idea is, why waste your time planning meals? Oh, that's just too hard. Right? When you can infect your body with a ravenous parasite. And what's even crazier is I remember me and my other friends were like, that's awesome. How do we get one of those? Like, obviously we were teenagers and we had no idea what that would actually do to the body, which is, we didn't know a lot of the crazy things that I did as a teenager. I didn't really realize what it was, the effect that it was having on my body. At the turn of the 20th century, tapeworms were sold in pill form for diet purposes. Eat more and lose weight. When baby tapeworms then grew to 25 feet long and started causing seizures, meningitis, dementia, the US government outlawed their sale. Other side effects included cysts in the brain, the eyes, and the spinal cord. Now, obviously, that is not something that we want. And that seems insane and crazy. But you know what? The damage that a lot of diets do on the body and the brain, doing the exact opposite of what we want it to do. I mean, like, we want to lose the weight, but then we want to be a sane, healthy, functioning person at our ideal weight. And that's really the only way to get there. Okay, so tapeworms, that's crazy. I'm really glad I never went down that route. Oh, the cotton ball diet. Feeling hungry? Cool. Just pop a cotton ball. There's 0 calories and they taste great. If you like the taste of nothing, at least they're bite sized. I mean, this one, what's even crazier is that like people actually do these. Like, this is an actual diet that people subscribe to and that they do. And I just can't even imagine what is going on the other end, because what goes in must come out. So that's got to not be good for the sewer system. Okay, this one's pretty fun too. The slimming soap diet in the 1930s. If you couldn't melt your fat, you could always wash it away with the soap products like Fat Oh No and Fat Off. This is Scrub Hard because they only turned out to be hand soaps. Oh my goodness, obesity soap. I love that. If only it was so easy. Again, going back to what's so awful about like, getting proper sleep, drinking water, having some moderate exercise, and eating properly. Well, we'll get to that in a moment on actually what's so hard about that. Okay, the next one, oh, which is kind of sad. I've totally done this. I did that for years, and what a nightmare because it's super addictive on other levels. And again, harmful. Harmful. It might work for a minute, but then it backfires, as all crazy diets do. The cigarette diet. So in the 1920s, and for many years after that, people who were hungry were encouraged to grab a cigarette instead. In fact, doctors prescribed it. Too much food may kill you, but cigarettes will only give you lung cancer, I guess was their motto. They didn't really know all of that back then, but we do now. So if you need some help quitting smoking, by the way, I can totally help you with that because I did that as well. Okay, well, what about drinking? Oh my goodness. I went on the like just drink diet, and then it was like, well, actually maybe that's putting on the pounds. So how about like not drinking? And I thought that would help too. The drinking man's diet. Have a steak and wash it down with a martini. Alcohol is required on this particular diet. This is like a legit diet, required at every meal, and no restrictions on gin and vodka. Robert Cameron sold his diet pamphlet in the 1960s, priced at $1. Within 2 years, he'd sold more than 2 million copies. It was a bestseller. Cameron's work is known as the first, quote, low carbohydrate diet, even though the Harvard School of Public Health declared it unhealthful, which, yes, that is unhealthful. But you can now buy an edition for $3.99 on the Kindle. Okay, how about this one? The Sleeping Beauty diet. Guess what? You can't eat if you're sleeping. Elvis was a proponent of this weight loss method, encouraging people to sleep through most of the 60s, sedated. Oh man, I know, but like, isn't the point of being healthy to be alive and like doing cool stuff? I mean, that's certainly what I want to do in my life is I want to experience, like that's the whole point of losing weight so that I can move freely and comfortably in the world and feel comfortable and confident. And if I'm sleeping, it's kind of hard to do that. Okay, so this one's kind of funny. So Lord Byron was accused of anorexia and bulimia, but that didn't stop him from popularizing the vinegar diet in the 1820s. His basic idea: drink plenty of vinegar daily, plus 1 cup of tea and 1 raw egg. Side effects usually included vomiting and diarrhea. So again, I guess it works, which is actually pretty interesting because not that long ago, I mean, I've done the apple cider vinegar weight loss diet. I've totally done that. Or sometimes it's called the apple cider vinegar detox. It was among the fastest rising health topic searches for Google in 2017. That was just a couple years ago. So really his work is the test of time for sure. But again, there is a difference between like contouring and toning and like inspiring your body to do certain things. And vinegar can be helpful for your body in certain ways. And then using that as like a long-term weight loss plan. Those are two different things. And I think sometimes we get them confused. Okay, so what about the Graham diet? So in 1830, Sylvester Graham was a Presbyterian minister and an early vegetarian who believed that people were overweight because they had too much sex. Now, although his diet of abstinence and veggies didn't last long, he's known today as the father of graham crackers. So that's kind of funny actually, because I've heard the opposite where it's like, oh no, it's a form of exercise, so get more sex. Oh, Lord knows. Okay, this one's kind of fun. The color blue is supposed to suppress appetite. If you want to eat less, wear blue glasses everywhere. So the rules are that you eat everything while wearing blue tinted glasses. Now, if you're just coming in, these are crazy diets. Do not try these at home, right? The rationale is based on an idea that the red, yellow color in foods are the most palatable. So, like meat and french fries and produce. This diet is designed to make your food look less appetizing. In theory, this makes you eat less. Okay, another crazy diet. What about this one? The chewing. This one's actually kind of funny. So in 1903, Horace Fletcher became known as the Great Masticator after his stunning 40-pound weight loss. That was a lot back then. His motivation, being denied health insurance due to his weight. His secret, chew each bite 32 times and then spit out the remains. That might be kind of messy. This diet's motto was so catchy, it's hard to imagine why it didn't gain more popularity. Check this one out. Nature will castigate those who don't masticate. No thanks. I wouldn't want to go out to dinner with anyone on this diet. Like, what are they going to do? Just like have a cup and like be spitting their food into it? Come on. Currently, there is some research supporting the idea of chewing your food completely, not the spitting it out part, because that seems very that seems like an eating disorder, right? Your body actually needs nutrients. It needs vitamins and minerals and nutrients and enzymes and antioxidants and fiber and water to function properly. So if this is your planned method, then let's talk. I can help you with this. So again, that chewing your food is not necessarily for weight loss, but it's certainly good for digestion. Helps your body like take the time, go slower, right? Chew your food, enjoy it. So that's test. Oh my God, look at that cute little giraffe. So cute. Okay, so I just like off the top of my head, just remembering from my childhood, like the different diets that my mom was on, because she now has kept off 100 pounds for like over 20 years. So, but when I was a kid, I remember her doing fasting, diet pills, of course, the alcohol one, the cigarette one, marriage, right? Just keep getting married, having kids, right? Because a lot of women are like, oh, well, I'm super healthy for somebody else, so I'm just going to get pregnant again. Working, she would work. She was extremely bulimic, anorexic at times, kind of went back and forth. This one here, whoops. This one here was really quite traumatic for me. I remember when my mom got her jaw wired shut, and the idea was that if she couldn't put anything in her mouth, then she would lose weight. So like everything had to be blended and she could only drink through a straw. What happened though is I remember we were in a hotel room. I don't remember exactly where we were, but anyway, we were in a hotel room and we had a pillow fight. And back then, right, like pillows would bust open. They have those little feather. I haven't had a pillow bust open in a long time. Maybe I haven't been in a good pillow fight. Anyway, we were in a pillow fight when we were kids, and one of the pillows in the hotel room busted open, and one went into her mouth, into her throat, and was blocking her airway and tickling her, and she couldn't breathe. But she had her jaw wired shut, so she couldn't even like get water in to try and swallow it, or like hack up or spit or do anything like that, because she had her jaw wired shut. And I just remember being so afraid for her life, like so scared that she was doing something just to lose weight. Like that's how important it was that she almost died. That might be a little dramatic. I don't know if you can die from a feather in your throat, but that's what it felt like when I was a kid. It was really scary. So that one's pretty extreme. Don't try that one at home. Then of course she did, Weight Watchers and cleanses and the cabbage soup diet and Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and low fat and low this and hypnosis and personal trainers and everything, right? And so did I. My first one, I went to fat camp, right? And my mom just looked at me. She was like, I've done everything. I don't know how to help you. Like she was so lost. This was 30 years ago. So this is before she found her, what works for her. And so she sent me away to fat camp. But what happened is I came home to the exact same home. So I came home to the exact same environment, the exact same habits, the exact same ignorance, really, of how to move forward, how to make a change. There was no change. So even though I came home in a thin body, it wasn't that long before I gained the weight back, right? Plus we were all fat-free in the 80s, and that was a mess. That did not do this body or any of our bodies any favors. I tried 12-step programs, pills, cigarettes, alcohol, more alcohol, less alcohol, right? Low carb, no fat, high carb, master cleanse, Atkins, vegan, vegetarian. That vegan one, actually, I did not do that one correctly. Because there's a way to do it, apparently, that I did not do, and I ended up in the hospital. That was kind of a bummer. The no sugar, the intermittent fasting, the exercising more, eating less, the apple cider vinegar, I did that one, cabbage soup, hypnosis. Lord, I tried so many things, so many things. So, like, what are we even talking about here? We're talking about weight loss, and like, we just want to like get rid of it and do anything, literally, obviously. Like, look at all of those diets that I went on. Like, and all of them work, right? I mean, I lost weight with almost all of them. And if you do them for long term, but that's the problem. You can't do any of them consistently long term and like really have a life with health and vitality, with a calm mind and a strong body. You can't fight your physiology for that long, right? So like, what actually needs to happen inside of the body? What actually needs to happen is the fat needs to be metabolized, right? It doesn't disappear, it doesn't melt, like the fat cells don't, vanish into thin air. So what happens is it takes time. So to lose weight, you need to metabolize the triglycerides that have been stored inside of those fat cells to unlock the carbon in them. Your body then releases a hormone that activates the enzyme lipase, which breaks down triglycerides in your fat cells and ultimately gets released in the form of ATP, which is energy, water, and carbon dioxide, right? So you want to stay hydrated, so that's flushing it out. You want to be deep breathing, right? No stress. You got to relax. Anytime we're under stress, we're not breathing properly. When we're doing meditations or exercise or deep breathing, then we're getting that out. So ATP, your energy, is used to fuel your activities, while water exits your body as urine and sweat, and carbon dioxide is breathed out. If you were to lose, say, like 10 kilos, 8.4 of those kilos are exhaled as carbon dioxide. Hence, your lungs are your primary excretory organ for fat. What? How awesome is that? So remember all those tea times where like we would just take a few deep breaths together at some point? Yes. Every time you do that, you are helping and stimulating. I think sometimes like the biggest fallacy we have is if we're not losing 5 pounds a week, then what we're doing is not actually good or helpful or working. And then we go and we go back into our old habits of thinking and behaving. Do not do that. Keep moving forward. Every little bit matters. Every time you laugh, you're doing something good for your body. Every time you learn something new, every time you have a moment of hope and gratitude, every time you take in that really deep breath, every time you go for a walk, every time you look outside and you think about the things that you're grateful for, these things matter. Every time that you take a glass of water and you drink it, right? Every time you go to bed a little bit earlier, every time you eat an apple or some extra veggies, or any of that stuff, right? Those fresh, alive, and vibrant foods that grow, that have vitamins and minerals and proteins and fats and carbohydrates and all these wonderful things that your body needs and knows what to do with. Love it. Love it. By the way, just as kind of a little side note, those enzymes are made up of proteins. So just throwing that out there, all the different things of like the 6 essential nutrients that we need in our body have special jobs, right? And metabolizing the fat is one of the special jobs of the different 6 essential nutrients. Okay, so that's super exciting. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the 7 dimensions of wellness, of health. I mean, I've had seen lots of different graphs. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dimensions of health. This is just like the basic gist is when we look at this, physical is only one. And what we do with like crazy diets just to get the weight off, we're actually doing the opposite in terms of physical health and vitality that we really want to be doing, because what we want is a calm mind and a healthy body, right? That is functioning properly, one that we don't have to worry about, or we don't have to think about all day long, right? We want to like have our meal in the proper place, enjoyable at mealtime, and then go on with our life and enjoy the activities and the experiences that are available to us. So we think about like, what does it take, Rose? What does it take to get the weight off and keep it off? And I'm going to tell you the secret right now. What it takes to get it off and keep it off is a shift in your mindset. We have to shift that emotional, spiritual, social, intellectual, environmental, what we do on a regular day-to-day basis, in the way in which we think about ourselves, our scale, our bodies, our weight, our relationships, our relationship to food, all of that stuff has the ability to shift and to change. Now, if you want to continue being the same person, getting the same results, then continue to do the same stuff. If you would like to change and to grow and to get a different result, then I hate to break it to you, but you got to do something different. You got to step outside of your comfort zone and ask for support and help and seek wise counsel. Follow the person in front of you who's a few steps ahead, and you can see and you go, yep, that's the path that I want to go down. I don't want to go back to all the diets and all the craziness and all the frustration and all the just getting the weight off and then never being satisfied and gaining it all back anyway, or setting aside all of the worries until after the holidays because there's always a reason to put it off, right? I want to do something different. So if that's where you're at right now, right on. I'm going to strongly welcome you with loving arms into my world. And I'm going to suggest that you register for my web class tomorrow. I'm going live tomorrow morning at 8:30 Pacific time. I would love for you to be with me on this journey where I talk about the 3 ways to take back control and lose weight. These are the things that I needed, and that also my successful clients realize that they need. Oh my God, it's this and this. Okay, cool. How do we piece that together? How do we actually create a sustainable, functioning support system that doesn't make me feel like I'm stuck right, in somebody else's world? I want to live my own life in my own world, but I want to be healthy and vibrant and alive. Like, I want both. I want it all. And you know what? Gosh darn it, you can have it. All right, ladies, today was wild. It was awesome. It's been, I'm going to just like turn on the news just to see what's happening. I'm sure it's crazy out there, but I just so honor and love and respect your time and your energy. And I look forward to seeing you soon. All right. Love you. Bye.